Hello, and welcome back to Life Classroom, the podcast that serves as a safe space for us to gather and talk about the lessons life throws at us when we least expect it. Of all the different kinds of pain we experience as human beings, there is perhaps none as deep and chilling as the pain of betrayal. This isn't the pain of an accident or a stranger's unkindness. This is a wound inflicted by an invisible knife held by someone we loved, someone we trusted, someone we believed in with all our heart. It could be a best friend, a partner, a family member, or even a colleague we thought was on our team. The feeling in that moment is like the very ground you stand on has crumbled beneath you. The reality you held onto has become a lie. It leaves you in a state of shock, anger, confusion, and with two enormous questions echoing in your mind. Why? And what did I do wrong? Today in our classroom, we are not here to dig into the wound and make it worse. Instead, we are going to learn how to properly dress the wound. We will explore the anatomy of this specific pain together to understand how it affects us. And most importantly, we will search for the invaluable lessons hidden in the ashes of that burned down trust, so that we can rise again, stronger and wiser than before.
Before we can get to the healing, we need to understand the nature of the injury. Why does betrayal cause such catastrophic damage to our spirit? First, it attacks our very foundation of reality. As humans, we navigate the world by trusting in certain fundamentals. We trust the sun will rise, we trust the ground is solid, and we trust that the people we love and confide in will not intentionally harm us. When that last trust is shattered, it doesn't just break the relationship with that one person, it shakes our entire world. We begin to question everything. Even the good memories we shared are now tainted with the doubt. Was any of it ever real? Second, it causes us to turn on ourselves with brutal self-doubt. This is the most dangerous part. Betrayal often makes us turn the knife inward. Questions like, how could I have been so stupid not to see this? I must not be good enough. That's why they did this. Or, how can I ever trust my own judgment again? Start to get louder. Someone else's treachery becomes a weapon we use to diminish our own self-worth, which is an incredibly painful secondary injury. And third, it represents a complex loss. We don't just lose that person. We lose the future we had planned with them. We lose the sense of safety that allowed us to be vulnerable. And significantly, we lose the image of ourselves as a good judge of character. It's a multi-layered loss that feels impossibly heavy. So the very first thing I want you, the listener, who is going through this, to do is validate your pain. Acknowledge that what you are feeling is real and it is severe. Don't let anyone tell you to just get over it. This wound needs time, it needs care, and it needs true compassion. Allowing yourself to feel the anger, the grief, and the confusion is the essential first step in the healing process. And I want to repeat this as clearly as I can. Their actions are a reflection of their character, not a measure of your worth. After we've given ourselves space to feel, and the initial storm of emotion begins to subside, it's time to shift our role. We are no longer the patient. We are now the detective or the analyst. We are going to look back at what happened, not to dwell, but to extract wisdom with as much calm as we can muster. Think of this step as performing an emotional autopsy to find lessons that will serve as a vaccine for your heart in the future. Find a quiet time and ask yourself these questions. 1. Were there any red flags that I saw but chose to ignore? This question is not meant to make you feel stupid. It's meant to train your intuition. Often, on a gut level, we sense that something isn't right, but we might rationalize it away or be too afraid to face the truth. Looking back helps us learn to trust that inner voice more in the future. 2. What does this lesson teach me about my own boundaries? Betrayals often happen in the space where our boundaries are unclear or too weak. We might learn that we were giving far too much of ourselves, that we weren't clearly communicating our needs, or that we were allowing people to cross lines they shouldn't have. This lesson is a golden opportunity to redraw our boundaries with bold, permanent ink. 3. What have I learned about human nature? This is a painful but profound lesson. We might learn that people can and do change, that some people will prioritize their self-interest above all else, and that not everyone has the capacity for loyalty that we do. Understanding this doesn't make us cynical, it makes us realistic. It teaches us to give our trust more carefully to those who have proven through their actions that they are worthy of it. 4. Amidst the darkness, was there any light? Look closely. During this incredibly painful time, who reached out without judgment? Who just sat with you while you cried? This crisis may have cost you one person, but at the same time, it likely revealed who your true allies are. And that is a precious treasure that might have otherwise gone unnoticed. Extracting these lessons is the process that shifts our identity from a victim who was acted upon to a survivor who is armed with wisdom and experience.
And now we arrive at what might be the most difficult, but also the most crucial stage of this journey. This is about forgiveness and learning how to trust again. First, let's redefine what forgiveness is not. It does not mean you forget what happened. It does not mean you condone their actions or say that what they did was okay. And most importantly, it does not mean you have to reconcile with them or let them back into your life. So, what is forgiveness? Forgiveness is the decision to free yourself from the chains of your anger and resentment. It is you saying to yourself, I will no longer allow your terrible actions to destroy my peace of mind. It's about taking your power back. Imagine that holding a grudge is like carrying a hot coal in your hand, hoping the other person gets burned. The only one getting hurt is you. Forgiveness is the act of choosing to put that coal down. Not for them, but for you. And how do we learn to trust again? More specifically, how do we learn to trust ourselves again? This is the heart of the matter. The first person you need to rebuild trust with is not someone else. It is you. Trust your intuition. From the lessons you just learned, you now know how to listen to that quiet inner voice. Trust that you will be better at recognizing the signs next time. Trust your ability to set boundaries. You have now learned how to protect your space. Trust that you have the power to say no when you need to. Trust your own resilience. This is the greatest proof of all. You have been through one of the most painful experiences, and you are still here. You survived. That means that if you face disappointment again in the future, you now know for a fact that you have the strength to get through it. Once you have rebuilt trust in yourself, trusting others becomes a much safer proposition. You won't approach new people with paranoia, but with prudence. You will extend your trust slowly, based on consistent actions, not just on beautiful words. You will give it to people who earn it.
We've reached the end of our session in the Life Classroom today. We've journeyed together through the anatomy of betrayal, extracted its powerful lessons, and found the path that leads us toward forgiveness and a renewed faith in ourselves. To everyone listening who is carrying this heavy burden, I want you to know that the wound you have may leave a scar, and that is not something to be ashamed of. A scar is not a sign of weakness. It is the mark of a survivor. It is a reminder that you faced a devastating battle and you made it through. This betrayal did not break you. It has, in fact, remade you. It has made you wiser, more mindful, and more deeply aware of the value of honesty and integrity. You have become someone whose worth cannot be easily diminished by another person's actions ever again. And that is the invaluable gift hidden inside this terrible pain. Thank you for honoring the Life Classroom with your presence during this vulnerable time. I wish you peace and a profound return to loving and trusting yourself completely. I'll see you again in our next episode. Until then, take good care.